Hello, my name is Kristen Kepnick. I'm here today with Kathleen Wright, who is my teacher and a teacher who's been longtime presence here in the Chicago area and the surrounding suburbs. Kathleen was first certified in Guruji's method in 1983. And although she's had a long history teaching around Chicago, today we're going to talk about a new project she started working on over a year ago, which is the Rural Illinois Iyengar Yoga Initiative. So, Kathleen Wright, happy to have you here today. Feel free to say a few
Thank
words if
you.
you want to add anything to my introduction.
Um, I began with Guruji's method in 1979, and I'm still continuing to promote what I feel is the light, the light of his method, and really an important stabilizing and wonderful practice for people. So we have prepared a little interview of sorts so we can talk about the importance of sharing Guruji's method and working with our people in our regional associations and our national association. Um, and that way we remain connected to our mother institute in Pune through their guidance. We continue to work in these ways.
Great. And yeah, just a note, Kathleen is in rural Illinois today. So I see your network bandwidth is low warning coming up, but I think the transition is okay and we'll see how it goes. So
Okay.
yeah. So
All right.
we're going to do a Q&A format and I will ask the first question. So how did the idea for this initiative first come about?
Well, we were in I was online. It was an online regional meeting, gathering. And we were talking about, at that time, one of the strong topics of that, this was, I think was 2022. We were talking about diversity and how to include uh, people into learning about yoga, Guruji's method. Um, there was a lot of focus then on mostly the city, and because I live in Iroquois County, um, the largest town here is about 5,000 people. So the topic of diversity here is a very um, different one. We have less, there's mostly rural, so uh, somewhere wedged between this little sort of oasis that I live on. This is called the Iroquois Oaks Nature Preserve, and a lot of uh, agribusiness and also transient people in the area. So I felt and brought up in this discussion that the idea of diversity and contacting people in a rural area would be a different project than in a centralized area. And just began to think about how to do that, and spoke with other teachers, listened to what they had to say, tried to understand. I remember in that uh, talk, there were people that were saying, "Well, I have no idea how to work in a rural area," and then I said, "I'm not sure about the city areas either." So hopefully we'll be able to have a discourse on the similarities and the differences in spreading this knowledge.
Yeah, so I know you've dedicated your life basically to the teachings of BKS Iyengar and our system. So why is sharing those teachings of Guruji's important to you?
Well, as I mentioned in the beginning, Guruji's methods have a stabilizing effect physically, emotionally, and psychologically. And that is an important aspect of everyone's life. Um, as a young person, I studied yoga and yoga philosophy in different ways, various ways. And when that sort of lightning strikes, once the mind is directed into what's actually happening at that time, that was due directly to his teaching. And when when I first met Guruji Iyengar in 1984, he was had a presence that changed everyone around him. And so I just think that it's really important for me to keep classical yoga on track, um, because there is a lineage and a method that is proven to give some reprieve from the activity of the mind, which can go all over, as everyone knows. So I think I hope that's sort of a clear answer into um, why the method was so important to me, because I had a shot, I had a chance, I had a second of clarity, and I thought, this is it. This is the direction I want to go. And I've been fortunate enough, through the help of friends, family, husband, and tenacity, to just keep staying the course.
Yeah, we're grateful. So there's probably some
Yeah.
overlap in the next question. Why have you taken this project on?
Well, there are two reasons, probably more, but one of them is my age, and looking at, I'll be able to continue to teach, um, but doing that effectively and experimenting with different ways that I can effectively uh, share what has been given to me. So I feel like there's sort of a certain amount of little tasks that I have thought about for a while that, uh, who knows if I run out of time or something. I mean, that's all karma, and I'm not worried about it, but I do have in mind. Um, I just feel like, I don't mean to sound like a sort of a new age person, but I really am, that yoga can uplift the vibration of the community. And when my young friend and I started this, one of the statements we used, I wrote down, we had a mission statement that we wrote. Um, our goal is to share a community-oriented, joyful movement and arts gathering place in rural Illinois. We're here to serve and provide professional instruction. They have a dance studio, so we put that in: yoga, tai chi, and other arts. And we welcome all walks of life. Now, for the rural area, that was sort of as strong a statement as we could make. And so that's why, partly because I love yoga. I continue to teach yoga, and I feel that if there is a common ground for people, some of the idea that people are really different um, can go away. So essentially, we're all the same spirit, and this is what I like to help people see. Now, I am of course not naive enough or blind enough to know that there are huge diversity things. I'm just taking on what little part that I can.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about who this grant is geared to serve specifically.
Okay, so in this rural Illinois initiative, um, anyone that wants to come can come. So we made minimal charge. And then because I have never in over, I don't know, 50 years of teaching, turned anyone away, we've also adjusted that they can pay whatever they can pay. So we just have a general fee and a sliding scale. So we never turn anyone away. So this area has an interesting mix of professionals, transients, very wealthy landowners, and people that work in the small windows of agricultural work. And so my idea was just to open it up and see who had an interest and to just start spreading it. I hope that's clear. I mean that I want this everybody to have a chance. I want everybody to have a chance. And if they catch it, if they come, then that light, which Guruji talks about, there's a light inside of all of us, and it doesn't belong to me or you. It's the light of divinity, and it's there, and that's a huge leap between getting them in off the street, off the combine into the yoga room. But I'm optimistic. Something will spread.
Yeah, well, you have to put it out there for a
Yeah.
chance to be present, right? So I'm sure there have been some surprises along the road. What are some successes and lessons learned so far from this project?
Well, there have been interesting chances for me to self-reflect because people think very differently. It's not like our friends in yoga kind of thing. We go to our regional uh, retreats and stuff, and a lot of people feel like, oh yeah, we're on the same page. So the successes have been some people. I started teaching before the pandemic in a small town near here, and then that closed down. It just wouldn't go. They wouldn't go on Zoom. Just was so I lost some of the contacts. Some of them have been coming back. They like the little studio. We've gotten a few people who were just curious, like, what is she doing over there? And then we've also had a few people who have, it's almost like they took to it right away. There was kind of a profound thing like, hey, this is cool. Like this is something is happening here. And so the successes uh, are small still. We've only had, it took a long time to get the building done, get the props in line, get the advertising. We're still building that. But I feel like now we're starting another session, and I changed the wording, so this will be an ageless yoga class.
Great.
And so yeah, so there are little successes, but like I said, I'm hopeful. Some of the things that I've encountered, we are in the what is Iroquois County is known as the buckle of the Corn Belt. So we're almost in the South. And so I've had to be careful with wording. I can't use the invocation yet, although we do sit quietly before each class. Um, I have to just be careful a little bit with the wording. People are afraid that I might be trying to uh, convince them of some kind of religion. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And so, but I don't know. Did I answer your question, Kristen?
Yeah, I think so. One question we hadn't talked about, but I think you started to sort of touched on. So what's next? You're starting another session. Any other plans for the immediate future or longer
Yes.
term?
So I did, so this is, teachers will understand this. The word yoga now is used in so many ways. And it can mean kind of anything out there, apparently, from what I see. I don't pay a lot of attention, but I do see it. You know, there's quite a bit of lack of knowledge, I think. So the next plan is to continue working. What I'm doing is working with people that I would never possibly have come across in any way. The people that own the building, how their mindset works, how to continue to promote with words that are truthful and yet non-offensive to them. And so this is a little play going back and forth. So we decided to call this new session Ageless Hatha Yoga, and go from there. I did I have been contemplating making a little bit of I haven't come to a resolution on this. I thought, people don't know me well enough still. I'm not integrated into the community. Another one of the things that we've run across in terms of difficulties in this is that, first of all, the roads are not good in the winter. And there are only 5,000 people in this town, but there are a lot of people in the surrounding area, which means they have to drive. And so that is a whole new dynamic. I mean, we have to drive in Chicago also, but these country roads are a little different.
Yeah.
So back to the thing I'm contemplating about it, and I would take feedback on this. I thought, these people have to get to meet me. So I think I'm going to teach through the Park District a class called Stretching for Gardeners. But I haven't been able to make myself do it yet because I just feel like that's kind of like, anyway, not real, but it might bring some people. So I'm working hard on it. I spend probably 2 to maybe 5 hours a week, like going back and forth with those studio owners, trying to get an idea, talking to different people, going around and talking to small business people. There's a lot to do with it. So
Yeah, you have to have students to be a teacher, right?
I do. Well, there's always myself to teach, and that's a
Right.
job in itself, to keep my mind clear and off of the tracks that it can run into. But because I like teaching, I've always taught. I was going to be an elementary school teacher, but it just wasn't for me. I liked working with adults and young adults and older adults more. So I have that in me, and I like teaching.
Well, you're a gifted teacher, so we're all grateful that you've dedicated so much time and energy to that as a
Oh my
life's
God.
pursuit.
And where'd it go?
Yeah. Just getting started, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's all the
Okay.
questions
Yeah.
I had prepared. I really appreciate your time. And obviously, we both want to give credit to the Iyengar Yoga Association of the Midwest for providing this grant and for all the support to those of us that teach and study in the region. So I think just final close by saying thank you, Kathleen, and we look forward to seeing what comes next.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Bye.